What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are you all doing this morning? Welcome to another episode of Dhristmas. I'm your host, Nick Smith, and I hope that you guys had a wonderful Christmas. So, for those who know, I have been reviewing the Paranormal Activity series over this series. And I have always talked about one specific movie when I was reviewing the films. And that was Paranormal Activity 3. Paranormal Activity 3 is my favorite of the movies. And I have been waiting so long to review this movie and finally to tell you guys why I love this movie, what it is about this movie that I like, what are my dislikes, and I really hope that you guys enjoy this. This is my Christmas present to you. So, for those who do not want to know what happens in Paranormal Activity 3, because I am going to go into a little bit of spoiler territory, if you do not want to know what happens in this movie, please click off now, because I'm getting ready to go into some spoiler territory soon. Okay, welcome back. So, for those who do not know, Paranormal Activity 3 is about the beginning. It is about when Christy and Katie are little girls, and basically what started the activity. And this movie is my absolute favorite. And one, yes, it is because it's an origin story. I like beginnings, of course. But it is also because the kids are... Christy is kind of creepy in this movie. And the acting is great. All the characters are great. The movie, the filming has a purpose, which this one isn't as stupid as 4. Okay, but the reason that they film in this movie is because the stepdad films weddings, so he's filming all the time, and he doesn't start getting interested in the paranormal until he notices that Christy is talking to someone under a trampoline, and he's basically like, well, what's his name? Oh, his name's Toby. He's my friend. And so he was like, well, what do you guys talk about? And this was one of the things that I thought worked really well in this movie. Is Christy will be like they'll be like, oh, well, what are you doing, Christy? Oh, nothing, just, playing with Toby, having a good time. Well, what are you guys talking about? And that is what really kind of gives this movie the suspense, is because as soon as anyone asks, well, what do you guys talk about, Christy instantly goes to, I'm not allowed to talk about that kind of stuff. Toby said I'd be in really big trouble. And it's like, you're like, what the heck? What does she mean? And it creates that suspense because you see, this demon is warping this little girl, and you're like, man, what does he tell her? Because, throughout the whole entire movie, they're asking, because, the husband watches the tapes, and he keeps going back, and he's asking her, well, yeah, I seen you were walking around your room last night, what was Toby talking to you about? Just secrets I'm not supposed to tell. And they're always like, well, why not? And she's like, I won't be safe. And it makes you wonder, what the heck does Toby... What do they mean? And it just creates really good suspense because you automatically feel, oh gosh, this girl is terrified of this demon. But now, one thing I do like about this movie is that we finally get to kind of see what this demon can do and how powerful it is, because there is here's where I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers, even though I've already done that, but whatever. There is a scene where the husband and the wife are making a sex tape or whatever, and there's an earthquake. Well, some debris falls, and it lands just on this big, massive figure, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the demon. He just stands there for a while, and you're just like, my gosh, he's huge. And he just runs off. And I'm like, my gosh. And a lot of creepy things about this is Christy's, her friendship with this thing. Because she gets more and more terrified every day, and even to the point where she says in the movie, I do not want to talk to you anymore. You immediately feel like, oh shoot, now this is where it's going to get bad. Because throughout the whole entire movie, she's usually happy with him, and they play games at night, they play hide and seek, or they play tag, and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, well, nothing unusual. The demon does mess with the parents a little bit. Not as much as it did in the second one. But, like, what gets the husband so interested in this is because, like, he hears weird things at night. Or not at night, but, like, he stays at home most of the time because, you know, he has his own business and he films weddings. So he hears things at night, or he hears things during the day. And this movie really makes you feel like you're back, like, in these old days, like in the 1980s and 1970s, because they have the toys like the Light Bright or Teddy Ruxpin. And if anyone who has watched Nostalgia Critic, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean. And I thought that was a pretty nice touch with the creepy toys back in the day. Because Teddy Ruxpin, oh my gosh, that's creepy. Dolls creep me out in general, people. So, but eventually, like, they do answer some questions in this movie, but I feel like the ending is bittersweet, and it just doesn't do enough. Now, some of the characters in this movie are smart, and some of them are kind of dumb. Like, the husband is in between, because he's, like, you know, he's digging into this stuff. Like, he's getting books on the occult, and he's reading up on things. He's trying to figure out, well, they pretty much do confirm that it is a ghost. They don't know that it's a demon, but they do mention that it is a ghost. And so he's like, well, what could it want? It's like he's doing all of his research, and he eventually finds a photo of the same symbol that he sees in the girls' room sometimes. And it's like when he finally has enough, and he's like, okay, I've got to tell my wife. The wife doesn't believe it, and she's all upset with him because he doesn't do anything with them anymore. But he's like, he pretty much explains, like, they do give you answers pretty much on why Katie and Christy do not remember anything. And he pretty much mentions that in the book it says that when the girls are old enough to get pregnant, they will take their sons and I guess offer them to the demon or something. And they will brainwash the girls, and they won't remember it. So that's why Katie doesn't remember anything. That's why Christy doesn't remember anything. But I just don't feel like this is enough. Because I've always wondered, okay, well, Paranormal Activity, the first one, that could have stood alone. That could have just been its own thing. And you could have been like, oh, well, I wonder if that really did happen. This one, usually, like, the first two Paranormal Activity movies, we would like to thank the families of such and such. That's not in this one. And it doesn't talk about, like, when such and such's body was found. They don't do that. And I was like, well, why didn't they do that? But I do have the director's cut. There's not much difference. The movie's just a little bit longer. Like, there's a scene after they play Bloody Mary. And for anyone who watched the trailer, you know that's in there. But one thing that's kind of disappointing is some of the stuff that's in the trailers are not in this movie. Like the Bloody Mary scene, that's not in the movie. They do play Bloody Mary, but that scene is not in the movie. There is something in the film if you do get the unrated director's cut. They do something. The scene with them calling a priest, that's not in the movie. I tried looking it up online. That scene doesn't exist. They just put that in the trailer to make you watch it. But yeah, like, I looked through this whole entire movie, I was like, where is the priest scene? And that wasn't in there. But the demon does mess with the mom, the demon does mess with the husband, and this movie does have some good scares, but it also does have some kind of silly scares. But one thing that I did find interesting was how they found two ways on how to record things. The husband's already recording because he's interested, but he gets this idea because he's not getting enough footage. So what he does is he takes a fan and he puts the camera on the fan, and the fan will move back and forth. And they use this really well, especially a scene with the babysitter. But one scene that is in the trailers that's actually in this movie is one where Christy jumps off a balcony. That's like the only one. But now, one of my problems with this movie is it's not consistent kind of with the things that Katie said in the first movie. When she's talking to the sidekick and she's like, well, the thing would always be at the foot of my bed. It would never be at the foot of Christy's bed. Toby doesn't really mess with Katie that much. He doesn't mess with her as much as the first movie makes you to believe. Of course, though, the first movie is all about Katie, and the first film back then was, oh, well, the demon's just following her. But Toby doesn't really mess with Katie that much. He only messes with her like 3 or 4 times. The first time is because she mocks Toby about how he doesn't exist. She goes in the crawl space. Second time, he pulls her hair. The third time, he messes with her when she tries to play Bloody Mary, and he messes with her again at night. That's actually only it. So it just kind of, the third one kind of makes you wonder, well, if the demon did all this stuff to Katie, why? If the demon didn't really do all this stuff to Katie, then why is she so scared? I mean, anyone would be scared with the demon coming after him, but just the actress made it seem like the demon never bothered Christy, and it always bothered Katie. And in the third movie, they pretty much show that that's honestly not the case. But overall, besides the ending, this movie is my favorite out of the series because it is the prequel, and I've just been so curious on how this all began, you know, like what started the hauntings and all this stuff. But I kind of feel like 2's explanation is a better explanation than this one. And I'm not going to tell you what it is. But in the second movie, they pretty much say that what if their great-grandmother made a bargain with a demon for wealth and power, and now the demon's coming back to reclaim the firstborn male. That honestly kind of, I feel like, would have made a better ending. I honestly want to see a Paranormal Activity movie where the whole entire thing began, like when the demon actually was summoned. Because I've always been wanting to know that. I was like, well, if that's the case, why not show it? Why not give us another story about what really started it instead of just showing us what started it in the girls' lives? But the kills are good, the scares are good, some of them are silly, but some of them work. Overall, I'm going to give Paranormal Activity 3 a C+. You know, it's my favorite in the series, and I honestly hope that this honestly explains to you why. Because, like I said, I'm a sucker for origin stories. I do like beginnings, and even though they are hard to do, I think that this was okay. It could have been better. It really could have been better. All in all, I'm going to give Paranormal Activity 3 a C+. Guys, put in the comments below, what did you think about Paranormal Activity 3? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What things did you like about it? What things did you not like about it? I really want to know. Guys, I hope that you are enjoying Buried Dhristmas. I have finally got to review the movie series that I have been really wanting to review lately. I do want to go back and redo my review of Paranormal Activity 4. I just got to find a way to get it somehow. But yeah, I hope that you are enjoying this. Hit that like button unless you're upside down, and I hope that you are getting ready for the next review, which will be on one of the best zombie remakes ever, The Crazies. Have a good day, guys, and a Happy New Year.